This video highlights the importance of priming the Ahmed GlaucomaValve implant and how it helps in detecting the possible dysfunction of the valve devices. Let's see how. Ahmed GlaucomaValve device helps in unidirectional flow restrictive aqueous drainage indicated in refractory glaucoma conditions both in children and adults. This allows immediate control of intraocular pressures in controlled, regulated manner due to the valve mechanism of the AGV implant. The components of the AGV implant include tube attached to a plate for the aqueous outflow. Within the plate, a trapezoid chamber contains a two thin silicone elastomer membranes held under tension by insertion of 4 pegs. This creates a venturi-shaped chamber that helps to regulate fluid flow by creating resistance to deformation and thus acts as a valve. This valve has high resistance due to the surface adhesions between the membranes. That's where priming of the tube comes into play and should be done before implanting the device to avoid resistance of aqueous flow when the tube is placed within the eye. Priming the implant, especially under microscopic observation with 5 cc syringe using a 27 gauge cannula, primarily separates the two leaflets and creates a space for the smooth outflow of fluid from the tube at the valve outlet for the regulatory flow of aqueous. While secondarily, the patency of the tubes is checked while priming. So here is a patient with uncontrolled intraocular pressures post-trabeculectomy and bleb needling while performing AGV FP7 model implantation. As a standard procedure when priming was performed under the microscope, something unusual was identified. Let's see more carefully. There was an abnormal flow of fluid seen at the valve outlet with reflux of fluid seen anteriorly at the tube valve junction. This anterior fluid leak was noted few seconds after the initial priming. Along with this, there is also incomplete opening of the leaflets seen partially at the valve outlet. So to confirm the suspicion of the defective implant, the patency check was re-performed. So this partial flow of fluid seen only in the temporal part of the valve outlet causing resistance, thus creating an anterior reflux seen after few seconds of the initial priming at the junction of the tube and the plate. So this confirmed a suspicion of dysfunctional AGV device. Therefore, it was replaced with another implant and later patient had good intraocular pressures with 2 anti-glaucoma medications. Therefore, priming is important for proper functioning of the device and also check for any malfunctioning of the devices. Here was another 5-year-old boy with failed combined trabeculotomy and trabeculectomy underwent AGV implantation and presented 5 weeks post-operatively with sudden onset of proptosis, downward displacement of the globe, limited extraocular movements, and displacement of the tube from the anterior chamber. On imaging, there was a large cystic bleb with posterior dislocation of the implant was noted on CT scan. This was later explanted. The explanted implant was tested in vitro, which showed a dysfunctional valve with anterior leak, which could have possibly led to anterior and inferior fluid accumulation resulting in displacement of the implant. Later, the child had the AGV implant replaced with Orolab aqueous drainage device, which had successful intraocular pressure control later. So other possible complications that can be seen were proptosis, extraocular motility limitation, and there can be impending optic nerve compression. So this brings the surgeon to cautiously look for any possibility of dysfunctionality of the devices before implanting. That's where the priming helps in detecting any malfunctioning and also proper functioning of the device. To conclude, identifying the default AGV is important in ensuring proper functioning of the implant to prevent serious postoperative hypotony related complications, and also this priming of the implant should be done under careful observation and direct microscopic visualization, which is very crucial to identify any defect in the devices. An implant with anterior leak and incomplete flow at the outlet noted during priming should be considered as dysfunctional and has to be replaced with another functional AGV device to have successful intraocular pressure control and good outcomes. Thank you.